Welcome back to our channel, where we update the thrilling, fascinating and surprising details surrounding the movie Beyond the Gates. If you are a fan of dramatic twists, hidden secrets and characters who are always on the edge of life and death, then this is the place for you. Today, we will delve into a new turning point when Dani suddenly discovers that Hayley is pretending to be pregnant and carrying out her earth-shattering plan. As the night falls and the buried secrets are gradually revealed, Dani realizes that everything around her is collapsing little by little. The seemingly normal life after leaving the mysterious gate of the past is once again spiraling deeper into the vortex of lies and intrigue. Since returning, Dani has been trying to restore balance, but what she didn't expect was that one of the people she trusted the most, Hayley, was hiding a dark plan with immeasurable destructive power. It all started with small but undeniable suspicions. Hayley became strange, often touching her belly as if to confirm the presence of a living being, but at the same time had strange behaviors. Morning sickness only appeared when other people were present. The prenatal checkups that Hayley always talked about were never accompanied by anyone. And the ultrasound results were always presented only through words, not specific images. Hayley's haste in demanding protection, care and an important position in the family made Dani unable to help but ask questions. She began to investigate quietly. Dani was not someone who was easily fooled by appearances. After surviving the supernatural and mysteries associated with the portal, her instincts are sharper than ever. She secretly monitors Hayley's schedule, discovering more and more holes in the hastily constructed story. Following clues from the private clinic where Hayley claimed to have visited, Dani discovers that there is no record of Hayley's name. It's all a lie. But the truth that is revealed goes beyond Hayley's fake pregnancy. It's just the tip of a much more sophisticated and dangerous plot. Hayley isn't just fabricating stories to gain sympathy or a piece of the property. Her ultimate goal is to reactivate the portal that was once sealed by Dani and the survivors. In the past, that portal led to a dark dimension, where reality is distorted and time can be controlled by the will of the manipulator. Hayley has been studying the portal for years. After learning that Dani had once tapped into supernatural energy and survived, she began secretly collecting the remnants, ancient VHS tapes, maps to the intersections of realities, and ancient engravings forgotten in the family warehouse. The fake pregnancy was just a tool to lure Dani in, to make her soften, trust, and give up control. Hayley knows that only Dani can find and open the portal again. One stormy night, as Dani silently follows Hayley to an abandoned house on the edge of town, she witnesses a ritual taking place in the darkness. Hayley is standing in the middle of a circle drawn in blood and ash, holding a symbolic key crafted from the remains of the old VHS tape. Her voice whispers ancient incantations, calling something from the other side. As the door to nothingness begins to shake, Dani realizes that she is not just dealing with a trickster, but someone who has been completely bewitched by the darkness. Dani is torn between reason and emotion. She has faced death, irreparable loss, and thought she had closed the darkest chapter of her life. But it is Hayley's reappearance and her malice that causes everything to be shaken up once again. Dani must decide. Stand aside and let things spiral out of control, or plunge once more into the dark path of no return to prevent disaster. Hayley is not alone in her plans. During her preparations, she has drawn in those who have been affected by the portal. Those who have lost their minds, who have heard the call from the darkness, and who now yearn to return to what they believe is their true home. A secret society has been formed, working in the shadows, collecting cursed objects and preparing the ritual to revive the portal. They believe that beyond the portal lies the chance to start over, an eternal power that no other world possesses. Meanwhile, Dani decides to dig deeper into her memories she tried to bury. She returns to her old house, searching for the notes of her late father, who was the first to discover the gate. The scribbles, strange drawings and maps leading to the intersection of the two worlds make her understand that closing the gate again will require not only power, but also sacrifice. The pursuit between the two forces, one side is Hayley and the secret society, The other side is Dani fighting alone against the dark forces, takes place in a space distorted by supernatural cracks. The line between reality and fantasy is blurred. Ghosts from the past return, luring Dani into endless illusions. Hayley, meanwhile, becomes increasingly dependent on the power from the other side of the gate. She was no longer human, but a vessel for an ancient entity sealed in the realm between realities. As the final ritual began, time seemed to stand still. Dani knew that if she could not stop Hayley now, all her previous efforts would be for naught. She rushed into the ritual circle, facing Hayley in a battle not only of body but of will. Memories, whispers from the other dimension, promises of a life without pain, all rushed at once, threatening to consume her mind. But Dani remained steadfast. She picked up the broken key from years ago, the only thing that could seal the gate if placed in the right place at the right time. In the moment between life and death, between light and darkness, Dani plunged the shard deep into the center of the circle. A blinding light erupted, a scream echoed from the other side, and everything exploded. Hayley disappears without a trace. The coven disbands, some lose their minds, others wander aimlessly as if their souls have been drained. Dani, once again, survives. But the mental wounds never heal. She knows that the portal may close, but it never completely disappears. And while everyone thinks the danger is over, she notices a detail that makes her blood run cold: the small crack in the ground, right where the ritual took place, is still there, and growing. After what seemed like a permanent end, the small town where it all began falls into an eerie silence. The people feel the invisible change, but no one dares to speak out loud. The dry winds carry a chill that seems to rise from the ground. Electronic devices in the area keep malfunctioning. Animals become panicked, and some people begin to suffer from insomnia, haunted by vague dreams. While everyone tried to brush aside the signs of abnormality, Dani understood that what she had stopped was not completely destroyed, but only temporarily sealed. The portal had never disappeared. Dani lived quietly in the old house where her father had studied the afterlife. In the days after the battle with Hayley, she barely stepped outside. She spent all her time re-examining everything she had once considered crazy, trying to find a way to defend herself against a darker future. But deep down, Dani knew that she herself had become an inseparable link in the cycle of that ancient force. And now, she was no longer facing Hayley, but something that existed far beyond any living entity. The silence was soon broken by even stranger signs. All over town, symbols painted in blood appeared on walls, trees, and electric poles. Everyone initially thought it was a sick joke. But when 3 people disappeared without a trace, fear spread like wildfire in a dry forest. Dani knew it was no coincidence. The symbols were perfect copies of the drawings in her father's ancient journal. Symbols used to lure or temporarily open portals to the intervening realms of reality. Dani returned to the old cellar where her father had conducted his research rituals. There, she discovered something even more horrifying. The research notebook she thought had been lost with him was still there. And there were new lines written in a strange handwriting that was not her father's, but a perfect imitation of his. The last line in the notebook read, "The one who brought the portal to the mortal world has returned as a lifeless being." Dani didn't have to think long to understand the hidden meaning behind it. Hayley, somehow, hadn't completely disappeared. Whatever was inside her had escaped, and was creeping around town. The nightmares became routine. Dani dreamed of standing in a wasteland where there was no sunlight, only shapeless shadows. In her dreams, she heard her name being called from 100 different directions, all at once. When she wakes up, her body is covered in bruises and small cuts, as if scratched by invisible claws. She realizes that reality is thinning. The portal is cracking from within. While searching for answers, Dani discovers an old recording from her father's recorder, hidden behind a false wall. The recording is of him talking to a strange woman, a voice identified as Hayley's mother. In the tape, she claims to have heard whispers of her daughter's name since before Hayley was born. According to her, Hayley is a child of 2 worlds, chosen to be the host for the ancient entity that was imprisoned after the portal was first closed. Dani learns that Hayley did not choose to be a traitor, she was born to be one. One night, a tremor shakes the entire town. All electronics stopped working, the lights went out. The sky was red as if burned from below. In the darkness, Hayley's figure appeared in the center of the town square, but no longer human. She grew taller, her body twisted like a stringless puppet. Her eyes glowing white and her voice no longer her own. Hayley announced that the opening of the gate had begun. The missing reappeared, but without souls, walking like corpses. Serving the new ruler. Dani, now, became the only hope for the town. She rallied the survivors, together they devised a final plan to seal the gate. But now, the gate was no longer where it had been. The ancient entity had moved it, merging it with the town itself, making it a possible point of entry. To close the portal, Dani must find the heart of the rift, the place where the blood symbols first appeared, where the evil power is fueled. The journey leads Dani to an old abandoned cemetery, where her father once buried an ancient object, a stone mask crafted from the stone of the land beyond the portal. The mask can reflect the true soul of anyone who looks at it. And in the hands of a strong-willed person, it becomes a weapon of exorcism. But to use it, the wearer must trade a part of their memory, the most precious thing they possess. Dani accepts the sacrifice. She loses the memory of her mother, who has always been a source of comfort in her mind, in exchange for the energy to activate the mask. Back in the center of town, Dani once again confronts Hayley, now the embodiment of chaos. In the final battle, the light from the mask reflects Hayley's true form, not a woman, but a dark, shape-shifting mass of being, emitting the cries of a newborn baby and the screams of imprisoned souls. The battle drags on in the twisted space between the two worlds. In the final moments, Dani chooses not to destroy but to seal. She recites the spell from the ancient diary, and sticks the mask into the epicenter of the rift, so that the entire being is sucked into itself. The portal closes, but Dani is no longer there. No one can find her. The town returns to normal, but with an invisible rift in reality. The people say that sometimes, on thunderous nights, light footsteps can be heard from underground, and Dani's name is still whispered in the wind. The story ends, but the darkness never sleeps. The gate may have closed, but deep in the souls of the survivors, the wound will never heal. The scariest thing is not the monsters that appear from the other world, it is the fact that we never know if the gate will open again, at our weakest moment. Thank you for following this dark journey to the end. If you love mysterious, creepy and profound stories like this, don't forget to follow and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any interesting videos in the future. The darkness is still waiting, and we will take you further into it, step by step, breath by breath.